Hello everyone, this is Les Kapuscinski. It's been my honor and privilege to have been asked by the IPA, the International Polka Association, to conduct an interview of three very illustrious Hall of Famers here in Canada. So in no particular order, I want to tell you just a little bit of information about the three people that we're interviewing today. First of all, Eddie Guca. Ed Guca is probably best known for his work with his own Polish Canadians. But his first band was called the Polish Aces, and later on he had a long stint with the Canadian Fiddlesticks, a band called Major Music, and has also had various trips with Ludowa Nuta throughout North America and Europe. He's done it all. He's been an IJ. He produces records in his own Polka studios for himself and for many other bands. He's a major promoter of polka music and has been for many, many years. And just a great all-around guy. I think you're going to find lots of very interesting information about this IPA Hall of Famer, Eddie Guca. Also, we have John Gora. John Gora has received numerous Grammy nominations over the years. He is also a Hall of Fame member, the International Polka Association, and has received many, many awards from several organizations in the polka business throughout the years. This past year, John has had an unprecedented amount of awards for his latest CD, My Polish Roots and Beyond, which for the IPA has garnered him Band of the Year, Song of the Year for Valentina, and the list goes on and on and on. A truly decorated year for John, and I think you'll find his part of the interview very interesting as well. Last, but certainly not least of all, Walter Ostanek. Walter Ostanek is a true treasure for the polka industry. He has so many accolades that there's just not enough time to go through them all. He holds the Order of Canada, which is the highest order available to an artist in Canada. He has a star on the Walk of Fame. He's recorded numerous CDs and albums for many artists, and including dozens of his own. And he also has been nominated, I believe, for 12 or 13 Grammys, and he's won 3 of them. There's just so much to go through, but I think you're going to enjoy listening to an interview with Walter Ostanek as well as our other guests. Enjoy.
All right. Hello, Polka World. Hello, Polka fans. My name is John Gora.
Yes. Walter Ostanek and Eddie Guca.
Eddie Guca from Toronto.
The one and only Walter Ostanek.
Here we are.
What a privilege!
You're at my house.
You are
house.
the
in your
one.
town.
In my town.
You're also the oldest, so you're the best.
No, we are
Put
in.
it this way here, I'm still here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in St. Catharines, Ontario.
Yes.
The home of Walter Ostanek, and we are at his home. And as you could see by the mailbox, we are at his house. I guess you took that
No
shot.
questions about that.
There you go.
Yeah. And we are getting...
So here we are with our esteemed guests, the trifecta of polka power in Canada. On your far left, John Gora. In the center, Walter Ostanek, and Ed Guca on the right-hand side. So, gentlemen, the IPA and your fans have submitted some questions for me to ask you, and we'll start the first one with Walter, and then the other two will answer also. Was there anyone in your family who was a musician or played an instrument?
My mother loved music but didn't play anything. My father, he was a carpenter. But my uncles in Slovenia, they were, and even my grandfather was a button accordion player.
Ed?
My uncle was a musician, and they had a band here. He was part of one of the well-known bands that played at weddings and dances. My mom played an instrument in Poland. She played a flute. My father had an old violin, and he really didn't play the violin, but he could play tunes, and I got a lot of the old tunes from, he would just sit and play the violin. In fact, we had little Wally over one time, and he pulled out the violin, and he was sitting there with little Wally, and it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, I'm going to bed. Around 4 o'clock in the morning, they're still in the kitchen singing and playing, and Wally had his concertina, and so that was later on. But basically my uncle is the one that inspired me for getting into music.
John?
I was surrounded by music in Poland growing up. In Poland, my uncle had a band. He played violin. My dad played the violin, and Mom sang in like a ladies' village, ladies' circle. So lots of music, a lot of folk music around. So when I came to Canada in '74, somebody put on a recording of Little Wally. Look at the song he wrote. And I said, you're a friend, Little Wally. I said, you know what? He might have registered the rights to that song, but he didn't write that song because I knew all these folk songs. I knew all these folk songs.
Yes.
Amen.
Okay, great. Now we're going to ask a second question. When did you start your
How many
band?
points do we get for that one?
There's no points. No points, no prizes.
Come on, Walter. You said there's a prize at the end of this.
So we'll start with Eddie. When did
Okay,
you start
going
your
back
band?
a long, long, long time ago. In high school, because the high school I was in, Parkdale Collegiate, mostly Polish and Ukrainian students.
Give us a
there.
year.
A year, I'd say 50, 54, 55, maybe 56, somewhere around there. When you try to go that far back, you're not quite sure when you started. But anyways, in high school, we got together in the music room. There was a Ukrainian fellow that played trumpet called Bill Kowalchuk, and there was a sax player there.
Well, we're gonna. That's further down in the questions. There's another question if you remember the original band member. So we'll leave that for another time.
Okay.
Okay, John.
Well, as me, again, high school, started the music program in high school because I wasn't taking any other lessons before. So 74 high school, and then 77 first little cha-cha band at the Legion Halls.
Okay.
Walter.
And I started my band January 26, 1957, and I
Mr.
got married on
Encyclopedia.
February 22nd, a month later.
Very nice.
All right.
Okay, so now the third question: who inspired you in polka music, John?
Maybe the question should be why polka music got inspired by polka music. I went to a wedding in '74, and my sister-in-law says, "You want to go to a wedding with us? You have to learn how to polka." And you know who played? Wally Bebenek from Toronto.
I know.
You knew Wally.
Yeah.
So I became to I love polka music right then,
Yeah.
but the early inspiration from the recording, of course, you listen to Wally, Eddie B.
Yep.
Senior was the man,
Yeah,
his voice
yeah,
and the beat. That was my inspiration.
Walter.
Well, my inspiration, no question. America's Polka King at that time, or whatever, he did earn it, was Frankie Yankovic. I wanted to be like him. I smiled like him. And the old saying is that if you follow a successful person, you might never be as successful. You'll always be a success. Follow a failure, and you're guaranteed a failure.
Good. Edger.
Well, I guess my inspiration going back to my uncle and the fact that he was in a good polka band, and a lot of the bands in Canada, as I was growing up, we went to a lot of weddings, and all I did was stand by the band all night. My parents wouldn't worry about what happened to me because they knew I'd be by the band. There was great bands such as Joya Draski,
Yep.
Mitz Zaleski, John Sava, Norm Haikoski, which was my uncle's band that he was in. And then we had a lot of records, Wojnarowski, Ray Henry, Walter Solak, and one of the ones that really got to me was the Connecticut Twins. So all that, and so when we started, it was that type of polka music, and then later on, Little Wally, Blazonczyk, all those inspired me, and there even was a lot of inspiration from Walter Ostanek, because I used to love watching the Sunday night. It was Sunday night, right?
Well,
The TV
Saturdays
show?
and Sundays.
Saturday,
Oh, yeah, Saturdays
and
and Sundays.
watching there and having a different style of polka.
You know
music.
what? Here's a little story. When I came to Canada, I was in a Polish dance group, and we danced on Walter's show in Kitchener, and it was being taped by, I think, CTV affiliate.
Yeah, yeah.
And we danced for your show.
Well, I was
there.
on there. I was 4 years in Hamilton, but I was 24 years in Kitchener, off
Wow.
and on. 24 years, yeah. And actually, I'm still on TV right this minute with Brian Sklar and the Western Senators in Regina, Saskatchewan. We're on cable access television. We're on 3 or 4 times a week.
You
Still.
know, behind the camera is a well-known Canadian photographer, Les Kapuscinski. People know him from Facebook
Okay.
Les, are we rolling, by the way?
We are.
I got a question. Les told me a story.
Okay.
First time you met Walter Ostanek.
Okay.
Do you recall when you met this Les
No,
Kapuscinski first time?
No, he would never remember. that.
Les, just tell him.
When I was a youngster, maybe 15, 16 years old, we had a band out of Sarnia called the Happy Canadians.
Oh,
We were
yeah, I
young.
remember that.
And there used to be a big festival in Inwood, I believe it was, a big Oktoberfest kind of a thing. They had multiple tents. They actually closed it down because it became too big.
Was that maybe near Chatham?
Yeah,
Yeah.
near Chatham. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little town, but it
Yeah.
just exploded.
Yeah.
Thousands of people would come
Yeah.
in. So
Yeah.
you were playing one time, and we had just finished up, and we were, like I said, 15 or 16 years old, and I was playing guitar back then, and you came to me and you said, my guitar player is sick. He's throwing up behind the stage. Do you think you could handle my stuff? And I
Maybe
said,
you
sure.
had too much to drink.
You
So
can
Walter asked,
So
"Can you handle
so
my
you
stuff?"
had me play one set with you, and the only instructions I got was, you better smile. Just keep smiling.
That's what
That was first encounter.
That's what I was told all the time. Frankie said, "Look, you got to smile. You got to look like you're happy, even if you're not. You got to look like."
Even somebody told me, even if you don't worry, if you make a mistake, just smile.
That's it.
People look at your face.
Okay,
So the next question here is, what was the name of your first recording?
My first recording was called "Gay Continental Dance Party,"
I have that album.
Volume 1 and Volume 2.
There's some cha-chas there.
But now they have changed it and took off the gay. So
it's called Happy Continent.
no, it's just called Continental Dance Party. Yeah.
John?
Who released that? It was back then. Were you
Arc-
on the label?
Arc Records. I was on Arc Records, and believe it or not, I got a gold record on my first album because they used to put them in the stores, in the grocery stores, in drug stores, in service stations. They would have LPs.
So it was like a label.
Yeah, they had stuff all over Canada, and they got salesmen to go around once a month and see what they sold. They'd pay for that and replace them, and that's how I wound up with Arc Records. So I did, I think, 9 albums with Arc.
We did, as far as our band in 1989, we did a 45 RPM.
Yeah.
We recorded at Squire in Buffalo,
Yeah.
and then in 1990 we did the first CD, Ready for Takeoff.
Okay.
In Buffalo at Squire Studios, that was for Sunshine Record label.
Okay.
John Boransky and Mike Nowakowski.
Okay. Yeah.
Mr.
Eddie?
Guca?
The first LP that we did, and we were trying to find, make a title for it, and we're thinking, we had all these titles that we want to do. Nobody wanted to agree on one, and we finally had to put it out. So it was just called Ed Guca and the Polish Canadians. No title or no nothing like that. We were all in Eddie Humaniuk's basement. We took a picture in front of his fireplace over there, and that was the cover. It was the.
Was it on a label? Your own?
We started Ram Records at that time, and we recorded it at Arc also.
Was it sponsored
Okay.
by?
Do you remember who the engineer was?
Way
I
back.
can't remember his name.
Ben Weatherby was there, but there was the guy before that, and he was a nice guy. And we did my first album in 8 hours, but we were rehearsed. but there was no vocals. It was all instrumental. So the thing is, we went in there and bada boom, bada bang, and it was done. Today,
Ram Records was not sponsored by Dodge, Chrysler?
Yeah, no, not quite.
Just wondered.
No, but we also did the first one. I think we did 8 hours because it was so expensive to record at that time, and we had a budget, and we says we got to do it. So we had to be so rehearsed, and we went in there, and actually we did the vocals, and I wanted to redo a vocal, and it was we ran out of funds, so it's got to be as it is.
All right. Okay, so the next question is, do you remember the original members of your band? John?
Oh boy. Well, the first cha-cha band was Mary Niewiadomski on accordion, John Mazurek on drums, Steve, I don't know his last name, on guitar, and myself, and then Joe Popper came in also on guitar, and Rick Ivanchuk, John Biały, George Maciesowicz, and then in '90 things changed. New members. Should I list them all? No.
No, just
I mean,
the question
after
is, just
that,
do you remember the original band?
original, yeah.
Walter?
yes, the original band was Bill Mortal on bass, Doug Grace on drums, Cecil Pontello on guitar and banjo, Andy Spinoza on saxophone, and myself on accordion.
Very good. Edgar?
The original band was in high school, and we were called the Polka Aces at that time. Had Bill Kowalchuk on trumpet, and he was also a great accordion player, and he made a career out of Disney World. He played in Disney World for almost all his life. On sax we had Ron Lutz, and then also a really good musician, Andy Stafura, on he was a violin player, but he also played tenor sax. And on drums, a fella called Pete Sklar. Nothing to do with the furniture shop, but anyways, Pete Sklar. And
Or Brian Sklar.
Yeah, yeah.
And then after that, I got together with Eddie Grzesik and Eddie Olesh and Eddie Humaniuk, and we formed the...
Three Eddies.
Yes, 3 Eddies. We formed, and one Joe Bennell. We formed the Polish Canadians, and that title was given to us by Little Wally.
Very good. Great. So the next question is, what was your favorite area or place to play? Eddie?
Every time we set up and played polka music, it was our favorite place because we enjoyed every job we played. A few that stood out, well, a lot of the festivals. There was Bel Air Polka Days, the USPA Festival, the IPA Festival, New London, Dick Pillar's New London, and one of my favorite places that I played at was the first Polish festival in Poland in 1977.
John?
Well, the first, I guess, because that was my first festival I ever seen, was Erie Polka Days at Waldermere Park. That was favorite. And then Seven Springs came along, and that became my all-time favorite.
Walter?
Well, the thing is, at the beginning, when I started January 26, 1957,
What time was it at? You are so good at these freaking dates.
8 o'clock. The thing is, I
My
started at
goodness.
the German village in Niagara Falls. I played there every second week. Then I came to the Heidelberg, and I wound up at the Heidelberg. And the thing is that in the old days, we used to pack them in. I mean, they were hanging off the rafters. And if
Yes.
you didn't get in there
I hear
at
stories.
7 o'clock or 6:30, you wouldn't get in. You know, like, people were young, and I mean, it was like heaven. Every job was like heaven. And that's where it all started. And naturally, then it expanded. I went to other places, and then I started going over to the States, and, you know, and I did Dick Pillar's thing, you know what I mean? I did Pittsburgh, I did Youngstown, I did Cleveland, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan. I mean, it was all wonderful, you know, but the thing is that here, I didn't have to go nowhere. I had jobs, and then naturally, once I got the TV show, well, then I was getting jobs all over Ontario, and then one thing, you know, it was like I was playing 4 nights a week and working every day. I was like a zombie. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All you have to do is smile. Doesn't matter if
I
you're tired.
did. I did.
Just
I
show the
smiled.
smile.
I did. I had to have a guy driving, selling my LPs. People sometimes wouldn't give me enough time to put them on the rack. They were buying them off me, you know. And then I had to get him a guy. He wore a shirt, same as us, dressed like us, and he drove my truck, okay, and sold my CD LPs.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. So I mean, Eddie B had his bus, but I had a station wagon and at that time already I had a truck and a trailer.
Very good. Very good. So the next question is, who in your band played with you the longest, John?
I would say Johnny Vignage on drums, still as part of the band, part-time.
How many years approximately?
36 years.
36 years, wow.
Yeah.
Walter?
Yeah, I would say my drummer, Doug Grace, who lives in Vancouver. He's still alive. He's 91 years old, and he was with me the longest. And,
Eddie?
you know,
What's with the drummer?
well, that, in this
It's
case,
the same with me.
yeah.
Joe Bonnell
Yeah.
was drumming with me, and we're the best of friends for over 50 years. Eddie Homanyuk took over for a couple of times when Joe got married and went to Europe for a year, but for 50 years on and off, Joe Bonnell on drums.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, so the following question is, what were some of your favorite tunes you played or recorded? Walter?
Well, the thing is that Just Because still is one of my favorite. Just Because, Beer Barrel Polka, you always have to play Beer Barrel Polka.
Everybody knows that one.
Blue Skirt Waltz is still one of my favorite waltzes, okay? And then Spanish Eyes and Release Me. And these are some of the tunes. Anytime I play Spanish Eyes and Release Me, people get on the dance floor immediately. Don't ask me why, but that's the
Walter, at our age, we gotta start going with a new title. Please re-grease me.
check my oil.
You know.
I gotta stop laughing
Your
first.
favorite song. Please re-grease
Remember,
me.
we're supposed to
Can't
smile.
you see?
I'm trying. Okay, I'm greased up here, so. But I
Favorite
guess
song?
the favorite song that we had over many, many years is Hey Mamushu Moya, and that was recorded, and it's a privilege to have it recorded by other bands. Eddie Blazonczyk re-recorded it, and the News used it as their theme song for a while, and quite a few other.
The Beat just did it, I
The,
think.
no, they did the other one that I was going to mention.
Oh, okay, right.
Day of the Wedding, Jen Vasella, which I wrote a week before we recorded it at Bel Air, and a week before I got married, and it was actually, I wrote it for my wife, Banja. So if you ever
Trying to
listen
make
to the
some
words,
points.
you can see that was.
I don't have a favorite song,
you
really.
don't?
I mean, I like so many, you know,
Me
maybe
too.
She's Not Crying Anymore. She married me, so she's not crying anymore.
The other one, the other
No,
one that I
really.
liked that we did was a song called Toop Toop, and Maestro's Men just redid it there, and those are some of the ones.
I
that
like
we-
myself. I like playing we recorded it. Many bands recorded the Góralska Mountaineer polka.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
playing that because you could
Yeah.
really put your feeling into it when you
Yeah.
sing it.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Okay, very good. So the next question is, do you have any advice for young people starting out in polka music?
As a matter of fact, I do. You're going to start off in polka music. Go to the roots. Take some old recordings and start off with bands like, I'll start off with Frankie Yankovic, then go to listen to bands like Frank Wojnarowski, Connecticut Twins, Ray Henry, then go on to Little Wally and Eddie Blazonczyk. Learn the music of those great bands and then make up your own style. Don't follow just one style. Learn all the styles that you can and listen to them find out how they played, and make something that's original from your own style.
As far as, I would say, if you're starting in a polka band, which you're gonna starve, by the way, you're not gonna make a living out. It's a nice hobby. It's a nice hobby. You know what? Play the music. Don't play the music like from the roots, like Eddie said. Play the music that people want to hear. Don't. You might be a great writer and a lot of new stuff, but if you just push it right at the new stuff right away, I don't think it's gonna work. Give them some stuff they grew up with and make it your own style. Put a little oomph of your own, and that's my advice.
Walter?
Well, my advice is, a young man, I've had this thrown at me many times. I said, young fella, it's not like it was when I started. I had grade 8 education. I failed in grade 9. The thing is, you have to have an education. You have a, number one, you go after education, you take lessons, learn how to play whatever
We
instrument.
recorded that song. I got my education out
Not
behind the barn.
That's not
Oh,
what I
that's
mean.
not.
But the thing is,
It's a different education.
you go after an education, and then, but still at the same time, you take lessons, what you love, and then you can fall back on something. If you don't have an education, today you can't even go and pick up the garbage. I mean, you have to have some
Yeah.
kind of. So my always is, get yourself a good education and then go after your dream.
Good advice.
Good
And the
advice.
thing is, I was lucky because that I worked at certain things and the people were behind me, so they helped me a little bit. You know what I mean? But I started working full time. Canadian Tire was my first job. $20 a week. $20 a week. Okay, I made more money when I started with Abby Anders. I was on radio 3 times a week. I got Monday on CKTV, $5. Friday night we played the dance at the UAW Hall. I got paid $10.50 for the job, $2 for the radio. Saturday, $10.50 I got paid for the job, $2 for radio.
There you go.
And that's the way it was, you know. So the thing is that, but little by little, you know, you get the shovel out and keep digging. Sooner or later,
You hit water.
sooner or later,
Very
and I did, you know.
Okay, the next question is, what is your wackiest or most memorable band story? There must be lots, but
Oh my
let's
goodness.
hear about at least
Oh,
one or two.
There's not too many we can tell on camera, but here's one. When we were going to Poland in 1977, we were flying and we had about 98 people on the plane with us, and it was a night trip. We left New York, I think, around 11 o'clock at night, and then slept a little bit. Got up somewhere over Germany or something like that. And Tony Jankowski was with us. He's the one who ran Erie Polka Days. And we had John Rahal, which is Tim's Rahal's father, with us at that time. We had our violins on board. We didn't want to put them into the cargo, so we had our violins. And Tony comes up, hey, why don't you guys pull out the violins and play a couple of songs? Meanwhile, you know, we're 40 or 50 or 60,000 miles up in the air. So yeah, okay, let's do it. So we started, and we're playing Hey Gure Moja Guri, dee 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 dee. And about 3 or 4 women get up and they start dancing in the aisle, and Tony says, stop, we're gonna fall down out of the plane. And everybody's sort of, yeah, don't you know we're not on the ground. So that was sort of clean, wild time that we did have.
John?
Really, a lot of funny stories. Going down to play in Florida, and the turnpike was like 75 was just packed, jam packed. Everybody stands still. You gotta pee somewhere, you know. And one of our guys, you know, started peeing out of the back of the van. A guy next behind us started doing the windshield washer. but another funny thing, going back to business, also down in Florida, another year, another jam on the highway. We start talking to the people and say, oh, polka band. I sold 11 CDs that time, traffic jam.
Mind you, that happened to me in Brantford at Tim Hortons. They did a bus from Saskatchewan,
Oh my goodness.
and I had them in the back of the car.
See, there you go.
Truck.
No, there's a lot of funny stories, but those are the clean ones.
Walter?
One of my funniest stories is I had a drummer that recorded with me from Cleveland, Joe Pianecki from Cleveland, Ohio. He played with a lot of the big bands, and he was a real good drummer, but a little bit whacked, and he liked to drink. He says, Walter, if you're going to make this album work, he says, you got to bring a gallon of wine, case of beer, and a big bottle of whiskey, so we can get happy. Now, we went from here to Toronto to record, and he came all the way from Cleveland to record with us, and a banjo player, Al Markick, who had also his own band and played with Johnny Pecan. These are two of my dear friends. So, not going to be recording the Canadian style. We got to do it the Cleveland style. So, the guys start recording and start drinking. We got halfway through the album.
And he's
The
slush.
guys were sloshed. They had to drive home, and I had to bring them back again to finish the rest of the album. And from that day on, I said, it's never going to be the Cleveland style anymore. It's going to be the Canadian. Nobody's going to drink till we finish the
that happen
job,
to me.
and then we can have all you guys want. You can have like one drink or so, but not like they were drinking.
Cost me about $800,000, about $1,000 extra for recutting a couple songs
I
because
know.
too much happiness.
Yeah,
You guys weren't strict
too
enough.
happy. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I
that's-
never let my guys drink. No, we don't drink anymore.
Yeah. And not
We
any
don't drink
less.
any less.
Yeah. One other
Okay.
one.
The next question is, what do you think set you apart in polka music?
Well, I guess I could say I'm lucky that I do speak the language. If I sing in Polish, I do understand the language, and I can kind of show, if I'm talking about heart, serce, I can show more emotion about the song. So people who I would say 90% do not speak the language these days, the polka bands, they will, get the kind of meaning of the song. That sets me apart.
A
more or
pan
less.
mówi czysto po polsku, prawda?
Da. Oh, that's Russian. Si, senor.
Well, if I can say something about John Guca. And when I first met him, you were a dancer. Okay? And I watch you, the way you operate. You're a good dancer. You're a good singer. Okay? The thing is that you already have something going for you because you know how to move around. Now, I was never a dancer, but
Rude, man.
yeah, no, but really, and you can speak Polish. I'm not a good singer, but Murray McFadden did.
You are a good singer.
Murray
Come
McFadden.
on.
No, but Murray McFadden in my career
Yeah.
did like 90 albums. I did 104 albums. He did maybe 85. But the thing is that I sang, but not on record. Okay, he did the vocals. But when I sing, I can also speak Slovenian.
That's right.
Because at home, I spoke Slovenian. Like the Cleveland guys, lots of things that they sing in Slovenian, they sing them wrong because they don't know how to speak Slovenian.
A ty rozumiesz i pričaš po slovenska.
That's it. Yeah. So, and not that they're not doing a fantastic job, and the bands are great, but the thing is that I do know, in other words, that I spoke Slovenian at home all the time.
Going back to, not to take away from Eddie, I was lucky enough when I was living in Poland, we were forced to take Russian because under the communist system, but I didn't like it. But now I'm so lucky I did because that gave me a bigger scope of all the Slavic languages. So I can read Cyrillics and, when it comes to any, Slovenian, Russian, Ukrainian,
Yeah. Well, the
it's
thing
much
is,
easier for me.
also, the thing is, I was born in Quebec. I spoke French when I was in
Oh,
Quebec, but I was only 4 years old when I moved to Ontario. So the thing is, I wish that I kept up the French, but again, nobody spoke French in those days in Ontario. so I didn't.
Well, you
continue.
still do the ooh la la, right?
Well, I think that I could have been doing a lot of work in Quebec if I would have spoke French.
A lot of nice jigs, Quebec jigs. Those that French Canadian music is so like a polka.
That's right. They love happy music.
Eddie, what set you apart?
What was the question?
What set you apart?
What do you think sets you apart? Huh? Hold on.
Well, I think we developed a unique style because I started off with the Eastern bands, Wojnarowski, Ray Henry, Connecticut Twins, and the first band that I had, and even when we started with the Polish Canadians, before we were the Polish Canadians, we only did that Eastern music very fast. And then when we met with Little Wally, and that was, we went on a trip to Chicago when that's Eddie Krzesik, Joe Bonnell, and myself. When we finished university, we went in, we're going to go to the big town and see what the music's like in Chicago. And we walked into Little Wally's office and we said, well, we're a band from Toronto. And he says, well, what kind of music we play? And he says, oh, we play, all types of music. He says, you guys want to do a job for me in Grimsby, Ontario in October? And it was like, what did he just say? And so we got back and we had to completely revamp our style to a Little Wally style. So from Eastern to Little Wally, and then when we started doing recording, we took a combination of both and made our own style out of that, which is a combination of both, and that gave us a unique style. And then the thing is that Eddie Homanyuk, on the first album that we did on Ema Mushimoya, he says, I want to put a violin on it. And it was like, Eddie, what are you talking about? You can't put violin on polka music. What's wrong with you? And he says, well, I want to try it. I want to do it. And he was so that he wanted to do it that we let him do it. And then after that, but the way he did the country.
That was your accent. When I first met you, you heard your band. That was, with that little touch of violin there.
Yep.
That was your accent.
And that is what
little mark.
We sort of
Trademark.
grew up with, a little trademark.
Set you apart. Very good. Okay, gentlemen, this is all very interesting, but sooner or later this has to come to an end, and we have all kinds of questions. But finally, we'll ask you, what kept you going? What kept you going in polka music over all these years? Why did you continue to follow in these footsteps and to bring joy to all the people? What is it that drove you to continue?
I always said, if it becomes a chore, pack it in. If it's still fun, keep going. As long as God gives me health, I want to keep going. Look, Walter, smiling Walter, 85 years young. That's what you said, right,
as soon
Walter?
as he said smiling,
85 years young, and you still love it. You still got it.
I love it. I don't like
people,
it. I don't like it.
People give
love
you,
it.
People give you that. I find in front of you, people dancing and singing along with you. They give you that oomph. They give you that.
And even right
the
now,
drug.
just you guys being here, you make me happy.
That's what it is. It's not a. I don't look at it as a job. I don't look at it as a. It's a hobby.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
When you love something, you love it.
Yeah, it is a hobby. It's never been a full-time job. And the thing is, when you get on that stage and you see people, what you're doing to people, you see them smiling, dancing, having a great time. I mean, that's what life is all about.
It's the polka fans.
Yeah, it's
the fans. That's what it is.
and it's the music is so good. No dirty lyrics, no kill the cops or stuff like that. No angry music like some music is. This is happy music. You can't, in fact, as you know, I say polka music, Walter will smile, right? Polka music.
There's no generation gap in polka music. You can have a 4-year-old
that's right.
dancing with a 90-year-old.
That's right.
And I hope it continues for you polka fans. Maybe, we don't have the nest of so many new musicians like we had years back.
Yeah.
But for those who are playing and maybe new musicians come along, hope you continue to play the happy music, because it is happy
It
music.
is.
That's it. I mean, it makes you happy.
I mean, you know, things are getting smaller, festivals and dances, because a lot of the generations, maybe there are skipped a generation and we lost a bunch of followers. But when people come to polka dance, they say, oh, this is fun. They will
Well,
come again.
You see my man cave that I'm cleaning up right now at home here. I have an accordion in there. I'm going to have it with automatic drummer and everything. But all those pictures in there, they all have a story.
Well,
I have hundreds of pictures, and they all have a story. Now that guy that's working for me right now, he's a Ridley College graduate, believe it or not, in between jobs right now, and he's helping me out. But he wants to write my
You should.
life.
And
And I
you've
tell him,
got
like, who's going to buy
stories.
it? Who's going to buy it? But he says, look, we're going to do it in the wintertime when things are slowing down.
What we're doing today, this is going on YouTube. This will be in the archives of
You're-
IPA.
You too?
And on YouTube, right now, the IPA has started their own channel, YouTube channel.
Okay.
So anybody in the world can view it. So they are having interviews all over USA from all styles of polka music.
Well,
And
the thing,
we will preserve many memories and facts.
one thing I have to say about IPA, I am honored to be in IPA, and it also arranged for me to be the first guy inducted in the Cleveland Style Polka Hall of Fame, because the 5 that were already in the IPA, they were the ones that went into the Cleveland Style automatically.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
So I lucked out right off the bat.
Gentlemen, it was a pleasure seeing you all
you
today.
too.
Thank you very much on behalf of IPA. And I'll say a big thank you to the guy behind the camera, Les Kapuscinski.
Absolutely.
You know,
And
he's
what-
the one that takes most of the pictures you see on Facebook, on social media.
Okay, well, I'm
And-
not on that, but I just want to say one thing about you, John. I never heard anybody say a bad word about you, except the bad words I said about you myself.
And you know, this is the first time in history that the 3 IPA Hall of Fames were together.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think it would be a good idea if we ended off here with a little bit of vocal. Everybody knows Roll Out the Barrel. Roll out the barrel.
Hold on. Keep
We
going.
got a barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel.
I got it. I got it.
We got the blues on the run.
Run.
Hey, hey, hey. Sing, boom, da-ra-ra. Sing out a song of the cheer. Now it's time to roll the barrel, 'cause the gang's all here.
Ah, there you go. Got my barrel. Bye.
Yay.
Let's go and eat.
And just like that, Walter treated us to a nice lunch. And I would like to thank everyone who participated, and especially Walter Ostanek for welcoming all of us to his home, his beautiful home in St. Catharines, and to provide his yard for us to conduct this interview, for his gracious hospitality, and for both Eddie Guca and John Gora, as well as Walter Ostanek, to give up their time for all of us to have this little look into their lives. I want to thank everyone for listening, and on behalf of the International Polka Association, we hope you enjoyed this. As an added bonus in the future, I hope that we can publish a separate little program, because Walter gave us a tour of his home, and especially he has 2 massive rooms, and in one of the rooms there are over 133 accordions, and that's just in one of the rooms. Many famous accordions that he received from many famous players over the years, and memorabilia like you would not believe. So we have some of that on tape, and I'm hopeful that at some time in the future we can put that together for you as well, so you can have a look. It was just amazing. Thanks once again. On behalf of the IPA, we hope you enjoyed it.